On April 13th, my worst nightmare became my reality. When Trav and I arrived on the scene, Sadie was sitting in the Phillips front yard covered in blankets. Mackenzie was slumped over the steering wheel, unresponsive in her car. I learned later that she wasn't breathing when the first EMT arrived at her side. I sobbed into Trav's chest, this just isn't good. And when they put Mac on the stretcher and her arm fell like dead weight, I sobbed even harder. I was never allowed near Mackenzie before they transported her on life flight. Trav went with Sadie by ambulance to Mott's. Aaron Phillips drove my mom, dad, and myself to Mott's. I felt frozen in my mind as my world around me felt like chaos. As we started to Ann Arbor, I could hear my dad praying in the back seat of the car. I felt the most amazing peace come over me. I didn't know what to pray, but I wasn't going to bargain with God. I prayed, Lord, if you take her tonight, she is yours. But if you give her back to me, give her all back to me. When we arrived at the hospital, the waiting room was full. God sent some of the most amazing people to us that night and the days and nights to follow. Sadie was so brave. I didn't realize until later that she walked away, and that was the biggest miracle. God had a hedge of protection around that precious little girl that night. Never did he leave us nor forsake us. Mac was rushed to a CT scan upon arrival. When I saw her after the scan, I didn't even recognize her. I just held her hand and talked to her as they worked around me. The doctor called us to the hall. I don't even remember everything he said, but he said she needed surgery immediately, and they weren't sure she was going to make it. Later, I found out that they thought an artery in her head was severed from the skull fractures, which would have led to significant brain damage. I signed the papers and told the surgeon we were going to pray for them. I went out into the waiting room to all the people to give them a report and ask for someone to pray. Pastor Dave gathered everyone around in a circle and we prayed. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. Over the next several hours, God put his healing touch on Mac's body. After surgery, the doctor told us that the brain on the CT scan and the brain in front of him during the surgery did not look the same. I said that's the power of prayer. The doctor felt that the surgery went well and the next 24 to 48 hours would be critical. God went before us and put the most amazing people in Mac and Sadie's path. The miracle started on April 13th and continues today. God's peace and presence were evident every day of our hospital stay. We found joy in our journey and the precious time we had together and with the people that we love. Mac's favorite verse is, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And God has continued to give her an amazing strength through this trial in life. I could go on for days about all the blessings and miracles I've witnessed and the people that have said that they have recommitted their lives to God and that this story has changed them. I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds our future. In the words of Mac's favorite artist, Lecrae, if I am wrong about God, I have wasted my life. If you are wrong about God, you have wasted eternity. Our family is overwhelmed and thankful for all of the love and support. Please see the miracle of Christ in our story and know that these three things remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.